Hi, Tabby.
Hi, it's a pleasure. How are you?
Nice to meet you. For the people that will have never met you, do not know who you are, this is their first introduction to you. Tabby, tell us a little bit about yourself. What are you doing with Shop Quinky? What do you make?
I am the owner of Taboo Toybox. Basically, like it was my love child. I don't know. It was my passion project that came up during the pandemic. Actually, it was my way of staying connected to my community when we could not be together in person. Um, I I'm in a career in which I have a lot of exposure to the public, and so uh, I felt it was a moral obligation for me to find a way to fill my time that did not put other people at risk. It started with a couple of floggers, as as it so often does. So it started off with a couple of floggers that I made, kind of for myself. Um, People who were within my pod. I had a pod of three other people who had the same, you know, risk tolerance that I did. Uh, they're like, hey, you should consider opening a shop. I'm like, oh, it's okay. We'll just see what happens. Um, I would get secondhand, so like leather coats. I would just completely decimate leather coats. So a lot of upcycling, a lot of repurposing, and something that was important to me is I don't think that cost should be such a factor when getting involved in your kink. And so it was important to me from the beginning to have multiple price points, um, and a way that I found that to be more sustainable, both keeping things out of landfills, right? And, you know, um, being able to offer a lower price point, upcycling the material, taking into account some people are vegan, right? I have a number of clients who they, that is, they don't want any animal byproduct in the glue, in the, they don't want leather, okay? I have literally stripped one of the implements in my shop down to the bone, so to speak, to repurpose it with vegan friendly products because this very sweet young lady wanted to surprise her dom who was vegan.
I love that. When you first started crafting and making this stuff, had that always been kind of how you did it? Was like going and finding stuff to then upcycle for this, or did that kind of morph into that?
So I'm a bargain shopper anyway. We jokingly call it dopa mining. Whenever you're going to find some non-expensive finds, you're dopa mining.
So you've always been doing it this way, that you were like, I'm gonna go and find this stuff and I'm gonna turn it into this, or were you kind of just, you were bargain shopping for just other stuff and went, oh my god, I could make things out of this?
So I would come across a um, this one red trench coat comes to mind. This red trench coat that was very worn at the elbow. Like whoever had it did not keep it up. It had probably never been conditioned in its life. Like, this was not taking a usable coat off of anybody, right? And I just remember bringing this thing home, and I was up processing this one coat until like 2:30 in the morning because I was just in the zone. I think I made probably a dozen mini floggers off of that one coat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved, you sent us an image in the like questionnaire that we send you guys, and you had sent an image of like an example that we could use for like social media, and there was this beautiful gray one that you sent. And I love the shape of it because I have something similar to that kind of shape. And one of the
Hmm.
things I love about it is it gives a lot of like impact, a lot of thud because of just how big it is, but that
Hmm.
little point that it comes to, just with that zing on there, that like it kind of comes out of nowhere and just adds this extra like jolt to it, which I am usually a thuddy person, and I have really come to love that kind of stuff. So I'm like, took one look at that and was like, okay, and now I'm going to add this to my shopping list. How did you find us as like Shop Quinky?
So you and Mr. Pierre had TikToks about it, probably like three videos apart from each other. I'm, you know,
Love it.
showing a little solidarity with my super
Love
spicy
it.
friendship bracelets. Yeah. Um, so when I saw that, I'm like, absolutely. Because, right now my shop is on another third party maker site.
Yeah.
And, we've had some great success with it, but it's not without its points of improvement. For me, the prospect of there being a pink community centered space
Yeah.
where I get to partner with, people whose platforms that I support and that I appreciate so much, people who don't have to maintain anonymity to the extent that I do, right? Um, it was a no-brainer. I put my shop on vacation mode basically
Yeah.
as soon as I paid my amount. I'm like, you know what? I want my inventory available for this project.
Well, and especially like you said about like during the pandemic that like you were feeling that need to like reconnect to that part of your that community. And I feel like the way that we kind of have come about, like the creation of Shop Quinky, like how it kind of came about, it wasn't necessarily out of like, it would be really cool. Like, it is a really cool concept, but it wasn't like we all just sat around and was like, it'd be really cool. It was out of necessity. It was out of getting fed up with how the community was being treated by third party e-commerce platforms. And so I like that it's because of that has just become so like community centered between the Discord, being able to do these interviews and like be able to actually talk to every single one of these people, like
Yeah.
one on one. And just, I like that it's already in that community feel to it, that it's not just a shopping experience. It's because it's all kink centered, you already kind of know there's a nature of like being here. This is your community just by this existing as it is with people shopping there. But it kind of connects you back to that, like, these are my people. Even if I want to
Mhm.
maintain some anonymity, I feel a connection to every store here, to the creators, to the Discord where you can talk to people, like all of that. So when you say all of your inventory, what is inventory for you? How many like products do you currently sell?
Oh boy, howdy.
Oh, that, you love when an answer
Uh,
starts like that.
I love a yoga mat flogger for a newbie
Okay, you had
because
said yoga mat flogger, and my brain, I read it first and I was like, that's probably exactly what it sounds like. No, it can't be. No, that's probably what it is. That is,
there
I
is.
love how thick it is. Like, just how big that is.
I think it's great for both beginner bottoms and beginner tops. For the bottom, you're getting maybe on a scale of 10, you're getting maybe a 2 because yoga mat is made to absorb impact.
Yeah.
But you get that yummy sound, right? And you have like this big toy, and it's really, it really inspires confidence, right? And then for a newbie top who maybe doesn't understand how to not wrap, right? They don't
Yeah.
know how far the flog goes yet, right? That's minimizing any fallout with wrapping around.
The color of it is so pretty too. I wouldn't have even like thought of that part of that, but it makes the color of it just gorgeous because they're meant to be like just these, big loud colors. Oh my god, I
Mhm.
love that. Oh, I know so many people who like their yogi lifestyle would just overlap perfectly with this and with their kink lifestyle. And like, this is the perfect
Yeah.
thing for them.
Health is important to me, right? Sanitation is important to me. It is very easy to clean that toy, and you have minimal breakdown.
That makes sense because of what yoga mats are supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to clean those. I love that. Yeah, because you had mentioned that. I was going to bring that up. You had mentioned that in your questionnaire of we ask about kinky pet peeves, and you had talked specifically about the not cleaning or taking care of your cleanup or products or sanitizing anything in between partners. And it's a big one. It's a big one that people don't
It's
think of because when they think of protection and like the hygiene and everything part of it, they think like, oh, pregnancy, preventing pregnancy, that's why protection. I'm like, that's why one facet, like, that's I used to talk about it and get the jokes from people like, ha ha ha, jokes on you, I'm a lesbian. I'm like, what? You can still pass things to each, what are you talking about?
at our local play space, part of like we had a show us your bag night basically where the more seasoned players would basically have our own personal play bags out. I also brought the cleaning supply that I use for each one. Also a major part of my own aftercare for myself the next day, kind of helping prevent drop, keep myself busy with cleaning and putting away the toys, a loving ritual of sorts.
So you have like leather suede, the yoga mats. What other kind of inventory do you have?
I was as surprised as anyone when my dragon tail whips turned out to be my most popular item. So this is a premium dragon tail, and it just keeps going and going and going.
I know they're just
We were
so
talking
cool.
about it's just such a utilitarian implement because literally if you fold it over, you've got some slappy. You fold it over again, you've got some thud. And then you leave this out and you got just a lovely little sting, you know? And also, you know, as a top, having one just hung over like that, it's really good for getting you in the headspace of, yeah, so silly.
Yeah.
And then there's also nylon. This is a snake whip that I hand wove. This isn't listed on the shop yet. I actually wanted to take this opportunity to introduce this. Like, this was the platform I wanted to introduce this product on. For me, it's important that if I would not have it in my own toy bag, it's not coming out of my shop. The suede and so it's also super important to me. Yeah, she's a stingy boy.
Yeah.
And
I love that handle.
all my toys that I make it to where there's a balance point. So this came from a thrift store jacket. This is a lovely little mini flogger. I love to do customization. So, you know, I had one client who asked for a message to be burned into the handle. So I was actually able to, in the leather of the handle, you know, burn in a beautiful message. And there was some symbol or something like that that was very special to them as a couple. And so, you know,
half the time these pieces become like conversation starters, whether it be between like play partners or like bringing your personal stuff to your local play space, that it's a conversation piece as much as anything else. Other than on Shop Quinky, where can people find you like right now? Where can people find your stuff?
So as of now, you can find my shop on Etsy. It's etsy.com/taboo toybox. I do still have a page on FetLife. I do still have a page on Instagram. Those are not my active ones. Those are just kind of a de facto. But the Etsy page is the best way to find me. Check out the reviews. You know, the customer service and the connection to my clients. That is the important part. I love a custom. I I love maintaining that communication. I love getting a good girl, so to speak, you know? I love getting a good girl from my clients, you know?
Oh, who doesn't? Like, I mean, please. Oh my God, Tabby, it has been so much fun talking to you. I cannot wait to have your shop up here because your stuff is awesome. You have a really like refreshing, very fun outlook on just how you navigate being a crafter, how you want to run your business. And I really like that. I really appreciate that.